being able to come before our governing body before, and it's a delight to me, especially in the state of our country and everything, that we still have on the local level the ability to have competent people in a governing body to listen to us, to make recommendations. And I find that's also true of our township officials. It's truly been a delight. I'm very happy to pay taxes here. I'm retired and I'm doing my best to stay here as long as I can too. So just with that, I'd also like to identify myself. I am the chairman of the zoning board. I have been chairman, unanimously elected, by the way, each year for 11 years. Prior to that, I'd like to mention this only because I think asserting one's competence in an area is very important. It lends credibility to their testimony. I served on 2 master plan committees. The first one was as a neophyte in 1988, 89, that period of time. And I was asked to serve on that because I was chairman of a citizens input committee. It's called something else now, but it was very active at that time. And we had sometimes a room full of people. But I was asked to represent them at the master plan committee, and I did so, and I learned a lot. I knew nothing at the time. About, I don't know, 4 or 5 years later, the governing body asked if I would like to be on the planning board. To me, this was a delight because I thought it was an opportunity to really learn about planning. So I was on for 5 years. So I purport to know something about planning. I purport to know something about master plan creation. I'd like to testify first that I recollect working with people like Fred Heyer, our planner at the time, and others to make provision for recreational facilities, a zone for recreational facilities. There were people, some in this room, who objected to it. I couldn't get it through. I tried. Others tried. Instead, we focused on ARE 6 because that was appropriate for where they happened to live. I had no objection to that because I thought that was a good idea too. I felt I made mistakes by supporting cluster housing in 1988. I see what the results of that are now, but it was in good faith and it was honorable and it was not in any way mischievous. I raise these points because it is incredibly important to view the testimony of someone in terms of what their background has been and the consistency of the data that they offer you. Tonight I have heard what I consider to be a shocking array of misinformation by people to just throw things up and see what sticks. And it's amazing. I will not belabor you because you can read the transcripts of the zoning board. But as chairman of the zoning board and have spent many hours on reviewing all the facts of MAC, and the reason I'm mentioning MAC is only because so much testimony has now gone on to cloud the issue that I need to mention it. I served, and after we analyzed information and worked with attorneys and worked with traffic experts, worked with the police department, I came to the conclusion that this was an excellent application in front of us, that the applicant was extraordinarily flexible, that the applicant was willing to buy additional property in order to expand the roadway of Fairfield, which already was a mess to start with, was already a problem. One of the planners that was up here testified that you can't deny or approve an application because you're having satisfied traffic. That is legally false. That is just absolutely false. We just turned down an application. I know we'll win in court for 110 unit on Salem Hill and Route 9, primarily because it was a danger traffic-wise to the residents that live there. and if I may, because this is really important, these go to the issues of the misinformation that was been presented tonight. Under our planner during MAC Athletic, it is our understanding that where granting of a variance may reduce potentially dangerous traffic conditions and alleviate congestion through the mitigation of the traffic concerns above, that improvement has been held to be a sufficient special reason to support the granting of the use variance. That's a fact. Now, let me tell you further what we did. We hired a traffic engineer who is I mean, to even the previous person who just made sly innuendos that I have heard for years from the same people who object to so many things. Well, listen to what the police department had to say about MAC Athletic. And this is after we spent time on the traffic engineer and their traffic engineer. With the widening of the roadway, they, meaning MAC, are also proposing a catch basin, a lawn, to create better drainage for the area. This will most likely eliminate the current flooding problem that exists in the area. The police notice this, and they try to do something about it. Lastly, we all know that increased traffic volume in the area is of concern. However, I believe a timing change as well as a delayed green at the light of Fairfield and Brickyard roads will allow vehicles to safely and effectively through this intersection. And an installation of a traffic light along County Road 524. As explained and shown, the traffic unit would have no objection to this site being approved. Now, we've heard people just talk. People who have a record, you gotta go by their record of denying everything. Of anything that isn't directly relevant to them, they deny. I am a witness in front of you, and I wish people would have to have been under oath, including the previous person that just spoke. At the zoning board, we put everybody under oath before they can come up and make a comment or ask a question of any witness, because honesty is incredibly important. Okay, so putting that aside, just for your...
We got it. Let's
Well,
go. You can keep going.
you know, you keep going, but I listened to rubbish for a long time from a lot of people, and it's staggering, staggering. The zoning board by a majority did accept that this was a suitable location and a suitable application. They did so by a 4-3 vote. The three people, and I'm here to witness this, the three people that voted against it, one of them said, if it weren't for the split zone, if the ARE section had been in the SED, this is a quote, I would be all for this. One person said that, and that was the only objection. A second person reiterated that same comment. It's a public record. The third person, and notice these are very unprovable statements. It's easy to get up here and deny somebody something that
Well, that's a
just...
very provable statement, sir.
What?
6-acre SED. That's a provable statement.
No, by provable, I mean, I really would be for it somewhere else, but I'm against it here, okay? That's what I mean. There's no way of proving it,
Okay.
because they haven't offered an alternative.
All right.
And that's the problem. There aren't any alternatives.
Okay.
So that's why I said that. But where was I? So I felt that was the case. The second person who objected, the primary objection, was we have flooding and it has to be resolved. They did resolve it. Our own engineers agreed it's resolved. Their engineers did. Third, regarding testimony that you just heard from another zoning board member stating that there were environmental concerns and he never had the right maps and environmental maps. As chairman, I tell you that it was utterly false. All board members had all of the facts of the environmental